Okay, so welcome back. We're going to be continuing with the validation of the data that we're posting in the registration form. So let's go down to the next line and create a new if statement. We're going to be doing lots of if statements one after another. And this one now we're going to check the password length. So we're going to check essentially that it's greater than a certain amount of characters. And this is going to give us some kind of control over users' password length and to make sure they're not sort of just A on the keyboard or something like that. So we'll say if, and our condition in here is going to be that the password's string length is greater than 6. So I'm going to use the strlen function and I'm going to wrap post password in this, and I'm going to say is this greater than 6. We could say greater than or equal to, just depends on how strong you want to be. You could say 10, this could be absolutely anything. So there we are. Now the reason I'm not checking the password again field as well is because we're going to be checking the passwords match anyway. So as long as the user's entered say an 8-character password in the password field, then they go to the password again. Even if they enter an 4-character, we will still get the your password's not strong enough error, but we'll also get we won't get your password isn't strong enough error, but we'll get your passwords need to match. So they'll need to make a change anyway. So just thinking about it logically, we don't really need to do that. I mean, you're more than welcome to do if you want, but it's not required here. So if the password is we need to say is the password less than or equal to 6 characters. So if it's less than 6 characters, I'm going to say your password must be at least 6 characters. Okay, so you also may want to set an upper limit on this, so you might not want the password to be, I don't know, greater than 30 characters or something like that. And you could do this with all the fields as well. It's probably recommended, in fact. So I'm not going to do it here, but you might want to go ahead and add an and then say, and the string length is less than 30 characters, for example. So there we go. Okay, so what do we want to do now? Well, we want to check the password and essentially check it against the second password that's been entered, so password and password again. So I'm going to say if, I'm going to say $_post password doesn't equal, so is not equal to password again. And if it's not, we can just go ahead and say error, your passwords do not match. And that's it, simple as that. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to check whether the email address exists. Just a thought as well, the username that we're posting or allowing the user to post can actually include spaces. It would probably be a good idea not to allow spaces within usernames. However, it depends on how specific you want to be. So let's go ahead and add in a function that checks the amount of, well, if any spaces are within the username. So I'm going to say another if, obviously. I'm going to be using preg match, which is essentially a regular expression match. And this takes a regular expression. If you're unfamiliar with regular expressions, go and look them up. I'll give you try and get a quick overview. And we're going to be using a regular expression to check whether there is one or more spaces. So a user could have 5 spaces or just 1 space. We want to check any amount of spaces between or within this username. So we say preg match is how it should be pronounced. If this equals to true. Now when will it equal to true? Well, we need to supply a regular expression and we need to supply the field the variable that we're checking, and in this case it's post username. So the regular expression, well, we need a / and a /. Our regular expression contents, if you like, go inside of here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say a // and an S. So this is basically checking for any amount of spaces within. So if we do have any spaces, one or more, we are going ahead and echo a message. Your username must not contain any spaces. Okay, so let's go ahead and just test this out. Remember, we've created the condition here as well, that the password must match and be greater than 6 characters. So let's just test these all out. I'm going to go ahead and enter Alex Garrett with a space. In fact, let's give it 5 spaces. I'm going to enter password, and then pass. And I'm going to enter just my first name and my email address. So click register. Your passwords do not match, so we have this this problem here. In fact, I think that Alex Garrett password and pass Alex. This is an annoying thing about testing these, having to fill them out constantly. So we need to change this to double equals, I believe, because it won't be returning. I'll speak about that in just a moment. This is just one of the things with filling, obviously filling forms out. It just takes a while. So let's say password, and I'll type pass, and I'll give my first name, email address again, register. Okay, so now we've got your username must not contain any spaces. Now let's go ahead and check out why I needed this double equals as opposed to triple equals. Obviously a triple equals checks for type checking as well. It doesn't just check the value. So for example, 1 will be equal to true because and 0 will be equal to false. In this case, if I was to go ahead and use var dump on this here, in fact, how can we do this? Yeah, let's just go var dump this. So when I refresh, oops, okay, we're not going to be able to dump that. So let's just dump regular expression, and I'm going to go ahead and say regular expression equals this. There we go. Okay, so now let's go ahead and refresh the page. Okay, so here we go. We've got int1 has been returned. That's the point I was trying to make. What's happened here is this function, this preg match function, has returned 1. So we could in fact say triple equals 1. No, we'll keep it as double equals true. So essentially we're just checking this for true, i.e. it contain, it's returned a value, a positive integer. And therefore we know that there are spaces. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on before we waste any more time. So we've done that, we've checked the password and that the passwords match. Let's go ahead and fill the form in properly, just very quickly. So I'm going to give a username Alex_Garrett, which hasn't been taken. Password, I'm literally just typing the text password. I'll give a first name and an email address, and when I click register, your passwords do not match. Okay, maybe that was just a typo on my part. So Alex_Garrett, password, Alex, and email address. Yeah, there we go. So we've not returned any errors now within this array. So let's go ahead and leave that there. In the next part, we'll return to some more validation. I know this has run over slightly just because I have been writing code that doesn't make sense in an attempt to explain my examples. But let's go ahead and move on from this in the next part and continue to write out some of these conditions and get this over and done with.